We have our student athletes who are coming up on the stage, and our head coach, Dave Doeren, will join us at the podium. Coach will offer a few opening comments, then we will get the Q and the A passed throughout the room. So, Coach, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Trip. How's everybody doing? You awake still? Yes. Seems pretty sleepy in here. All right. Overall, very excited to be back at NC State, going into year 13, and with this group of guys, and to be a part of a program that's done a lot of great things, and a very humble and hungry group of guys that are ready to earn where we stand in college football this year. And, rewinding back to when I first got here, there was a lot of goals I had for myself and for NC State. And to now fast forward and be one of, the sixth most tenured coach in college football, to be the winningest coach in school history, to be in 10 bowl games in the last 12 years, to build a sustainable model of success. I've had a back-to-back highest GPAs in school history. There's just so many positive things happening on our campus through the leadership of Boo Corrigan and Kevin Howell, our new chancellor. And to be with a group of guys that, like me, have a big edge to them. It's been probably the most coachable team I've had in a long time, coming off of a year where we felt like we left a lot of meat on the bone. They've been very focused, a lot of fun to work with, a lot of tough days, but days that they know that they've needed to push this needle where it needs to go. An addition of several players who I'm sure we'll talk about, but also some changes on the staff and to be able to promote former players from within. I guess that's when you know you're getting older as a coach. You know, when you get a recruit a young man like Isaiah Moore, Gavin Locklear, coach them, take them to graduation, see them work their butts off to try to continue as players, and then to get into the coaching ranks. And Gavin, now a full-time coach, actually Justin's coach in the tight end room. Isaiah Moore working with our linebackers, and these two guys have brought a lot of energy, and their blood is in the bricks, as I like to say, in this program. And then elevating Elijah Shaw from his role last year to assistant D-line coach and what he brings. And then, Kurt Roper's a guy that, storied offensive coordinator, not only in the ACC at Duke, and the success that they had, but in his time in the SEC as an offensive coordinator. Been on my staff for a while now, and Kurt is a guy that brings a lot of energy. He knows how to create cohesion. I feel like this offense has a lot of talent. They were very young last year, so there's experienced guys that knew what to get better at. And it's not just having good players that matters. It's the players playing together, and I know Kurt's going to do that. Obviously, his relationship and the continuity that he brings with our quarterback, I'm sure he'll speak to. But there's a lot of trust there, and that's a big thing in this sport. Defensively, an area that I felt like we struggled last year was getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. And we had a lot of third downs that I think are winnable third downs where we didn't get off the field. And as a former defensive coordinator, pressure on the quarterback is a great fix. And the one thing about DJ Elliott's defenses over the years, everywhere he's been, he's improved their numbers in tackles for loss and sacks. He's learned a lot in his profession as a coordinator in the SEC, ACC, and Pac-12, but also in his time with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the one unique thing about both these coordinators is they're similar to me, similar to our players. We got something to prove. And I think for those of you that know me know that that's something I like. I like being in a room with guys that feel like they're being under the radar, feel like maybe there's some things we got to prove about our team, ourselves as coaches, as players. And so it's a really unique staff. We have gotten younger as a staff, and I think that energy is definitely contagious on the field for these guys at practice. We have really two different things when you look at our team. Our offense returns a lot of the players that played last year, with the exception of a few transfers on the offensive line. If you look at our skill players, Wesley Grimes, Noah Rogers, Keenan Jackson, Terrell Anderson, guys that played a lot last year at receiver are back. At tight end with Justin coming back and obviously improving. But adding an experienced player, Cody Hardy, who you guys haven't watched yet, who's really going to be a dominant player in the run game for us. Our tailback, Hollywood Smothers, really had some big plays for us last year, and then the emergence in the offseason of one of our young backs in Duke Scott. So we have a lot of guys back on offense, along with our quarterback. It's the first time I've had a returning starter at quarterback in 3 years. So your offseason as a head coach is tremendously different when you have an offseason with a starting quarterback. A year ago, he's trying to learn what it's like to be a college student. He's trying to learn an offense. He's trying to learn the names of his coaches, the names of his teammates. This year, he's leading those guys. He's taking them out on the field and working on routes. And there's a different thing for him. It's a completely different place that he's in at 200-plus pounds compared to the 170-ish that he was when he got here. And so excited. And some key pieces defensively. We lost a lot of starters. There's a lot of guys that played that are back, but a lot of starters. So this fall camp will be a very competitive fall camp. I think DJ and the defensive staff did a really good job adding some quality pieces to the front. Kean Sloan, 7.5 sacks last year, really good pass rusher. Sebastian Harsh was a really good player at Wyoming. Adding those two guys to the edges of our defensive line. Trey Thomas comes in, a guy that can play multiple positions. And Brian Nelson, a guy that got a lot of accolades as a true freshman at North Texas, tested really well for us last week at corner. A safety that's played every position in the back end, and J.J. Johnson is just a really consistent and good communicator. Kenny Soares, a linebacker that played a lot of positions for Northwestern. So we've added some pieces that have been on the field playing at their other schools. And then we added some guys that were younger that bring a lot to the table. Jaron Sensabaugh, defensive back, whose father had a great career at the school down the road and played in the NFL for a long time. A.J. Richardson, who's been a delight, great leadership, was a captain as a true freshman at his former school, so has proven leadership. And then DJ, he's like me, been through a lot, and through his different stops and learning, it's been fun because I've known him over 20 years but never worked with him, just sitting down and talking football. And he's a great translator of the changes that we're making. He's coached in this exact system at another school, and so he knows the verbiage of it, but he also knows how to translate the verbiage of it into other things that we're doing. We return all of our specialists, so it's nice to have, returning experience and proven guys as punter, snapper, kicker, and look forward to seeing what Jonathan Paylor and Hollywood Smothers and some of these guys can do as our returners this season. And, this league, conference of quarterbacks, puts a lot of teams in bowl games year in and year out, tons of players in the draft. I think is also similar to our program, undervalued and underlooked at times, but year after year has a team fighting to be in the national championship. And so proud to be a competitive member of the ACC and look forward to chasing our dreams and goals. And no different than every year. We have the same aspirations that we've had, and that's to win every game that we play and to put ourselves in a position to be in the conversation at the end of the year. And look forward to the opportunity starting Monday with these guys to show that we're ready to do that. I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, thank you. We'll take your first one right in front of you to the left, front row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. How are you, Coach?
Good, Dan.
To go off of what you were speaking on here and what you've done, 13 years, year 13 at NC State, we don't see that. It's atypical for coaches to be around that long. So just what you can say about why NC State and why build this program for the length of time you have. And then secondly, to go off of your comments on the ACC, if you feel like this is a multi-bid college football playoff caliber conference.
Yeah. NC State was the right fit for me. In my second year at NIU, we'd won a second straight conference championship. Our team was headed to the Orange Bowl. There was a lot of teams that were calling and asking if I would be interested. And at that time, I told Sarah, if we leave, I want to leave for the right fit. I don't want to just chase a name or a school. I want to find something that fits our family. We had 3 sons that I didn't really want to move them again if I didn't have to. And I know that's unrealistic maybe in college football, but I never think about going somewhere and it not working, okay? I think about what I'm going to do when I get there and how I'm going to do it and the people I need along my side to do it with me. And I found that, you know, at North Carolina State, I found a blue-collar school where the fan base supports the student athletes, a place where I could live and be myself, a place where I could raise my sons, and a place that had the geography that I like, because I love to be outdoors, I love to fish and golf, and to be able to do that in 4 seasons was a blessing. And so we were fortunate, you know, like recruiting. We tell recruits, hey, find the right fit, and I did. And I had a lot of goals when I got here, and I've accomplished a lot of them. But there's still, as I said at the beginning, meat on the bone. You know, 10-plus wins, winning the ACC, being in the playoffs. These are all things that I think and know that we can do with the right players, right staff. And sometimes you got to have a few breaks, you know, staying healthy and things like that. As far as the league, there's no doubt that this league has shown that. And if you go back, I mean, just in my tenure, you know, with Florida State winning national championships, Clemson winning national championships, we've shown that we belong. And just to be candid, I'm not against multiple automatic qualifiers. I think that, you know, to me, I think that limits leagues. You know, you may have 6 teams that are in the top 20 in your league. Why would you only want 3 of them or 4 of them? You know, to me, it ought to be the top, whatever that number is in the playoffs, come up with an algorithm that takes human elements out of it, that rewards people for strength of schedule, quality wins, conference wins, all the things that, you know, you look at that mean something when it comes to successful seasons. Being a coach that actually was in the FCS, that was a part of playoffs, you knew that the top whatever we're in. We didn't have a conference championship game. You had to be in the top 12 or top 16, and, you know, so I've been a part of it where it wasn't messy. And, you know, the only team that's mad is the one that gets left out, that's the lowest ranked. And, you know, I think people can live with the best 15 or 16 teams being in there. So I think we're complicating things too much right now with what league deserves this or deserves that. And, you know, to that point, you know, college football just needs to do its best for college football, not what's best for the Big Ten, SEC, or ACC. We need to do its best for the sport.
We're going to squeeze in one last question. Coach, to your right, second row.
Coach Corey Smith with Pack Pride and 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Corey.
You talked about the fact that, you know, you saw some differences in terms of the offense back in the spring. What did you see as far as tangible differences having a guy like C.J. Bailey back, having Hollywood Smothers, having Justin Gilly?
When you have returning players, they can build on previous experiences, and you can as a coach. Like, I can point out to those 3 players the areas that they did well and the areas they need to focus on to be better, and then you can see their focus on those areas and help them get to those points where they're improving. And that's, as you know, one of the things we pride ourselves on is being a developmental program, helping guys become better than they were. So when you have a returning player, you're allowed that opportunity. And I think that's one of the things that gets lost in the sauce of transferring. When guys leave, sometimes their development goes down. They may be going to a worse strength program and not know that. They may be going to a position coach that's not a developmental coach. He only coaches the guys that are going to play on game day, you know, and it's the opposite. We want to develop every player in our locker room. We don't care if you're a walk-on, if you're a starter, you're a backup. Our job is to help them get better. That's how we do things at NC State. And so those guys were diligent about being better. And it's not just as players, being better as people, being better as leaders, being better in your weak areas, you know. And so it's nice to be able to do that. In regard to changes in the offense, you know, I mean, when you watch offensive football on tape, taking play calling out of it and taking names of plays out of it, a lot of plays are the same, you know, same formations, same plays when you watch all teams. I mean, everybody in some ways run an inside zone, outside zone, counter. You have same route trees. It's how you package it so that within the game you can make adjustments and call plays the way you need to based on how you're being defended. And that's the one thing I like about the things Kurt's changed. You know, our offense is similar in some ways, and in some ways it's very different in that he can manipulate things quickly with the verbiage that he's changed.
Coach, thank you. You can switch spots
You bet.
with
Thank
CJ.
you guys. Go Pack.
CJ, we've got about 5 minutes with you. And folks, if you would, please identify yourselves, the agency you are with. CJ, your first question will come to the right, third row.
CJ, you were kind of thrown to the wolves, pun intended, last year when Grayson McCall got hurt. Can you talk about some of the most important lessons you've learned becoming QB1 and a leader of this program?
Yeah, I learned a lot, especially from Grayson McCall. He was a great leader for me, great mentor for me even when he was done. I learned how to, every day be the same person, try to be more vocal, than what I was before. So at the end of last year, that was what I was working towards, to just be a more vocal leader. And you will see some of those flashes in the spring ball that we just had. I was very, and still is, a very vocal leader. But overall, the type of leader I am, I'm an energetic guy, and that's what I bring to the table.
CJ, left side, third row.
Hey, CJ, Scout Hughes with WIZS Henderson. To end last year, you guys played East Carolina. You also played them to start this year. What's that going to be like in terms of just getting back at the Pirates?
Yeah, it's just always exciting to get on that field for that first time, and that game one is going to be really fun, and the way we prepare for it is going to even be funner. I can't wait to step out for the first time with my guys and see what we're really made of.
CJ, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC and Locked On Wolfpack. CJ, Coach Doeren talked about what it meant to bring a quarterback back, and that this is the first time that's happened in quite some time. Can you explain what the difference is in kind of knowing, hey, I'm in the front seat, I'm in the driver's seat, this is my team per se as the quarterback one here, as opposed to being in a situation where you were expecting to kind of be mentored and nurtured into playing this year?
Yeah, it's a big difference. Like last year, I just was sitting back and letting Grayson do his thing, and there's a lot of things I wanted to do last year, but I didn't want to step on Grayson's toes. Just be more a leader than what Grayson was. So I just observed, and coming into this year, it's very different. In spring it was very different. I used my voice more, as I said before. I was way more than what I was last year, and I think. What happened, not to any knock to Grayson, but I think that I got the chance to, experience being a starter of the team.
CJ, if you want to push those microphones up just a little bit, you can. And your next question will be to your left side, front row.
CJ, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Working with offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper, how has he helped you evolve your game up to this point?
Yeah, Coach Roper is, for one, he's a great guy, phenomenal guy, but he helped me, every day. Like every day I go in that room with him, in the meeting room, I gain some type of knowledge and some type of, understanding of the game better. And, it's great that he's our offensive coordinator because he understands me and I understand him. He's my quarterback coach still at the end of the day, so.
CJ, right side, second row.
CJ, Brian Purtle with Pat Pride on 24/7 Sports. A lot of new guys coming to the O-line group this year, whether it's Teague Anderson or Jalen Grant, the transfer portal. Spike Souls coming in as a highly touted freshman. How much have you been able to kind of get to know those guys on and off the field, and how much were you looking forward to working with those guys this season?
We got a great group of guys up front, and I spend a lot of time with them. We've had a couple dinners so far. I have fun with them, joke around with them a lot, but some of those guys are returners, and, we already had that connection. This is, guys like you just said, like Teague and JG. I try to get to know them more, and I did a good job. I feel like I know them, like I just know them a lot, and they know me.
CJ, your last question will be on the left side towards the back of the room.
Anthony Yarrow, Through Five Sports. CJ, what's it mean to represent Miami at this stage as a rising sophomore?
It's great. I feel good to represent the city of Miami. That's where I'm from, and taking what I got to North Carolina, showing them what I got, and putting on for the city. 305 has just been good. It's been great, and I feel like I'm doing a great job.
CJ, thank you. You and Caden can switch spots.
Thank you.
We'll spend about 5 minutes with our linebacker. Folks, please identify yourselves and the agency, and we will get started. Who would like their first question for Caden? Caden, right side. We'll take back-to-back questions, third row, then second row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC and Locked On Wolfpack. Caden, NC State has prided themselves on their defense for quite some time under Tony Gibson. Last year, it seemed like things took a little bit of a step back in terms of performance, and I know that your injury was part of that. So looking forward to this year, looking forward to new coordinator, new system, all those things, do you think that all of that newness is kind of the shot in the arm that this unit needed to kind of get back to what the expectation is set at for NC State defenses?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we go out on the field as NC State defense, we expect to dominate. We expect to play physical and tough, and I believe this offseason was big for us. Getting a lot of the new guys in here, kind of showing them the ways of how we do things here is huge for us. But as far as me coming back, Sean, some of the guys that have been there for a while, we got to see guys like Drake, Peyton, Zay, how they did things. And I mean, last year, you're right, it wasn't up to the standard. But this year is a new year, and we're going to come out and prove that we're back. We're going to uphold that standard and play ball on defense.
Kate is still on the right, gentleman in front of him.
Corey Smith with Pack Pride on 24/7 Sports. Caden, going back to last year, that injury, first of all, how much of an eye-opener was that for you and kind of change your perspective on the game of football, but also where are you at from a health standpoint heading into fall camp now?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're taken away from the sport you love so much, I mean, it's difficult. But thankfully, I got my brothers. They were with me the whole way. Coach Doeren helped me a ton. My dad, he was in my corner the whole time. My faith in the Lord helped me get through it all, and it was an eye-opening experience. I learned how to lead from a different perspective. I was on the sideline. I wasn't really out there with the guys doing it the whole time. So it was a big step in my leadership, learning how to talk to guys and show them things one-on-one instead of being, out there in front of the team. So it was such a blessing. Anytime you get to play this sport, you can never take it for granted. So, and then as far as it goes right now, I actually just went home, got cleared, so we're ready to go, and I'm excited for fall camp.
Caden, left side, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Caden, you just spoke about your faith there. Just having faith in the chaos of adversity and how faith guided you through that storm that you had with the season-ending injury.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rock. I mean, faith is means so much more to me than any game. So having that strong faith really helped me get through those dark times. I mean, also, like I said, being with the guys, anytime I was with them, it made everything so much better. It felt like I was out there the whole time. But, yeah, definitely having a relationship with Christ, it was huge during those times.
Any other questions for Caden for the room? Caden, seeing none, you can switch spots with Justin. Thank you for your time. Justin's with us for the next 5 minutes. A question for our wide receiver, please. We're going to go left side, third row.
Tight end.
My fault. If I'm going to do this for 17 schools, I'm going to have one position error, so I apologize that it's you.
You're good.
Thank you. Left side, third row.
Scout Hughes, WISES Henderson. I really like the red suit. That's awesome. Just speak about the pack culture and what it means to be a part of the Wolfpack and how the whole city of Raleigh's behind you guys.
Honestly, I would say that's really the reason I committed here. When I got here, I was like, I didn't know where I should go out of the portal coming out of UConn, but the people here, it looks like the people I could look at to my left is like that's my family right there, and everyone who wears red and represents the Wolfpack. It's not just one person; it's a pack. It's a pack for a reason. So I would say that was definitely a big moment for me in my culture.
So, Justin, let me follow that up from the podium. You're now 18 months in. What have you learned being a Wolfpack that may stay with you for the next 30 years?
That you can rely on your people. Like, I can count on, if I ever need anything, I know I can call up Coach Doeren, CJ, Biscuit. I can call up on all of them to, to help me out if I need anything.
Thank you. Right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Justin, you were listed as one of the top 5 tight ends on NCAA or College Football 26, and yet it seems like nationally you don't get the respect and the accolades that some of the other guys mentioned in that same breath and vein do. And Coach Doeren talks about how, NC State players have an edge and have that chip on their shoulder. Is that something that adds that chip to your shoulder to say, hey, I've proven myself, I've shown up statistically, I am one of those guys, even if, I don't get that love necessarily?
Honestly, it doesn't really faze me because at the end of the day, I know who I am as a player, and I think my teammates know what I'm capable of. So preseason, they can have the top 5 tight ends. That doesn't worry me. At the end of the season is when I really want to shine.
We're going to go right side, second row. Either one's fine. Thank you.
6-1 half does the other. Justin, Brian Purtle with Pat Pride on 24/7 Sports. This is a very versatile tight end group with yourself. Coach mentioned Cody Hardy as a guy that's going to move some bodies. Dante Daniels back, another very large man. A lot of excitement around a freshman like Guy Ritchie. Excuse me. But how much are y'all embracing that versatility and be able to do a lot of different things on offense in different ways in your group?
I think versatility is like one of the best things you can have on offense because it's like very unpredictable. You never know, like if I'm in, if it's a run play, or if Cody's in, if it's a run play or a pass play. Like having that and having all different statures when it comes to tight end, it also I think helps the offense out a lot because it's like, dang, we don't know what's gonna happen. We just gotta take a guess.
Justin, left side, first row.
Justin, recently you posted a 007 chain. Just go into your personality and how you define your personality, and if we can see that in the chain, which you said coming to a field near you.
Oh, yeah, man. 007 James Bond. I'm rocking number 7 this year. I rocked number 7 my senior year of high school. So, I got a little personality in me if y'all couldn't tell. But, yeah, I'll come to a field near you.
Justin, right side, second row.
Charlie Grable, 24/7 Sports. Justin, talk about your relationship with CJ Bailey and how you've gotten now at full Austin to kind of work with him and build a rapport.
I remember when CJ first, took the helm over, became QB1. I was like, hey, fam, if you need someone to rely on and you need like a reliability factor, you can come to me like for anything. And that relationship has grown. He's like relied on me on for things that sometimes there's some routes I shouldn't have ran, but he gonna give me the ball in an open moment. And CJ, I love you for it, and don't stop ever. But like with that, like me and him, we were rooming together, here at the hotel, and me and him, we were just bickering, having fun. It was just like going back and forth because that's what brothers do. And I think that's really what me and CJ's relationship are.
Any other questions for Justin? Will Justin, left side, second row.
Daniel Suzanne with Technician. There's been a lot of noise going on with the basketball program and in Chapel Hill, obviously, with Belichick. How has that helped you and the rest of the offensive skill position group, which has retained a lot of players? Have you guys been able to bond and fly under the radar? How has that helped you guys?
Honestly, we just block out the noise. Like, no offense to any of y'all, but we're not really worried about what anyone else says. We worry about what in-house says. At the end of the day, we're the one who plays football. So, like, I love all y'all. I appreciate all y'all for coming out, but it really don't matter to me.
Justin, your last question from me. Are you sure you don't want to be a wide receiver?
No, I promise, man. I love being a tight end.
NC State, thank you. We'll see you out on the trail. Good luck this year.
Thank you, guys.
Folks, thank you for your 3 days here in the press conference room. If the staff can be of any help to you during your journey throughout the next couple of months,